So I guess the virtual writing group seems very relevant now because of COVID-19. But so I started it last fall before, like I knew Zoom before COVID-19. So essentially what we did, again, kind of adding with the variety. So I could have done a writing group with people in my lab or people in my department, but I wanted it to be with people, one, I didn't know, because then if it's a friend who we're too close with, then I can easily just be like, I don't feel like writing today, so I'm not doing it, So the virtual part helped connecting people from all over the world too, because of timing. So as long as you have enough variety of people from different time zones, then people can also just essentially log in. So what we do is I had a Zoom account, we log in, we check in, hey guys, welcome, blah, 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 the regular introduction and stuff. And then we'd have a few rules, set your goal for the day, make sure they're SMART goals, measurable and all that. And then we'd write for 45 minutes. And then during that time, if people had any kind of difficulty, they would write in the chat section, just say, hey guys, I'm having a really hard time with this. And then during our break, we would kind of check in, and who needs to take a break, stretch, and do all that stuff, we do that. Or if someone had a question we discuss it for a few minutes, and then do another 45-minute session. So usually they were in 2-hour blocks. And the important thing about that was kind of just, you'd have your video on, and I would be here writing. So we'd all see each other on the screen, but we'd mute our screen. So in case people have, noisy backgrounds, and we would just write. So that way you feel like someone's watching you. At least for me, like I had to keep and you're not forced to. So of course, if it's just me and you, I would appreciate if you turned your video on. But if it was multiple people, everyone didn't have to turn their video on as they're comfortable. But for me, I know it was helpful to know someone's looking, and I would keep my video on, because otherwise I would just be here, doing other things, being on the phone. But if I know people are looking at me, then I'm more likely to be working. And of course, that doesn't guarantee to be working. You could still be here surfing Facebook and no one knows. But it's just kind of like, why would I dedicate this time, show up, and then be on Facebook? So it gives you, it gave me that space to dedicate to one thing, and we all had the common goal, and then the accountability of showing up for myself, but also for the other people, because I know if I didn't show up, then now that person doesn't have the accountability to do the work that they thought they could have done during that time.
Yeah, I also can definitely agree to having someone or having a space and time set up with someone who you're not necessarily like best friends with or close with. I joined a writing group probably back in February, because I've been trying to write a manuscript, and me working on it on my own, it's valuable, but I also just feel like having a group of other people too could also keep me motivated and going. And I remember that it was one Thursday because we write on Thursday mornings, and I was just like, I do not feel like writing. I don't even feel like getting out the bed to make it on time to catch this bus. But then I thought about it like, but like that is my accountability group, and they're gonna be looking like, why am I not there? And I didn't give like this I don't have any reason to not be there besides the fact that I don't feel like getting up. And so it's like, I'm gonna get up.
Right. And that's the thing, because like the group, it makes you show up for yourself. It gives you that extra push, because it's like, well, I created this group for times like this, when I don't want to write, when I don't want to get up, when I, it's for that extra push. So if you don't feel like it, that's more reasons for you to show up during the designated time. And for the variety, because different perspective, because even like writing, you can imagine if everyone in the group is an academic, then they're more likely to give you advice based on what academia thinks is doable or what they've learned along the way, which I've probably also been exposed to, versus it's helpful to have people who are just writers and who generally have other strategies to just write, not necessarily just academic writing, especially we know like academic writing can be boring anyways. But I think it's more about just having people giving you different things and different things to try. And so you need that variety in the group, for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any last comments or tips or anything like that you want to share?
Relating to accountability? I think just, you know, one, don't force it. So if you try to find an accountability group, so even for this writing group, so say you were to join and it's just not working for you, don't push it. Don't be like, oh, well, they, you know, they find it beneficial, so why am I not? Like, just don't. It's not the group for you, or it's not the person to hold you accountable. And try different people, you know, different people, different kinds of groups. And you'll be surprised what some groups, so right now during the whole COVID-19 thing, I feel like all of your videos during this time are going to talk about COVID-19 before, during, and after COVID. But essentially, I was going to say, like, so I started this other group called Sip and Share. So on Thursdays we meet, and it's, you know, people within the STEM field. At first it started out where in my mind, I visioned it to be, we'll talk about some topic, and then people, you know, grad students or whoever need advice on that topic will ask questions, we'll discuss it, maybe have a drink because it's like a virtual happy hour thing, and that'll be it. So far, we've done it like 3 times, and it's exactly that, but in a different way, in a more supportive way, where we, again, go with the flow, and the importance of also having other people be involved in this and not doing it alone, because if it was up to me, my very structured, rigid ways would get in the way, and it would not have really, you know, like facilitated community. And so people show up, and whatever the discussion is, whatever people need, you know, guidance or just want to talk about, we talk about. And at the end of every session, I leave feeling so like inspired by the people who attended. And sometimes I'm not even the one who's sharing anything, and I'm the one who need them, you know. And so again, if I just saw it as like, okay, you guys are going to show up and I'm going to tell you this, and it was all Indira versus like a few of us are coming together to discuss something that we all want to discuss, it would have been a very different outcome. And so I think just don't put too much pressure on what you think the accountability group should be either. You know, the group have like, of course, like a general vision. So the vision was to have a space for people to feel inspired and share. And that's exactly what people are doing. It may not look like what I thought they were doing, what they should be doing, shoulds, right? But that's exactly what is happening, and I couldn't be happier. And so also, it facilitates a lot of other things that I didn't expect from the group. So you may show up for writing. So even with the writing too, we show up to write, we show up for accountability, but sometimes someone says something and you were struggling with something personal. Like people have like opened up about, you know, dealing with like their parents and having an illness. And of course, like all these things, the importance of having these groups is like people have different perspectives, and yes, we're here for writing, we're here to sip and share or whatever, but we have all these other things, personal things that influence us from writing. So I'm going to show up for writing accountability. Like, you know, someone has an illness or is suffering through something that is on my mind. And so, yes, I'm grateful for the group being here and I'm grateful for the time and I'm committing. But sometimes it's helpful to just acknowledge that, guys, I cannot do this right now. And then having people who are going to be responsive to that, it's so empowering. Like, it's just like, it's like, oh my God, like I didn't expect to get these benefits from these groups. So long story short, don't like underestimate what you can get from the group in addition to what you set it up for, and just kind of like let things just go with the flow and focus on building the community, and not so much I need people to be accountable to me for XYZ. And just, you know, try different groups if it's not working out, and just keep forming groups that until you find the one that works, because I've tried a lot of other groups that hasn't worked, and I'm thankful they didn't work. And because when you find the ones that work, they can be really transformative, honestly.